All right. So I literally have no idea where we left off. I see 3 viewers. If one of you has my phone number, please text me and tell me where we left off.
Abortion, was it?
I don't know.
Where did we get lost?
Nori wasn't sure where we stopped being live. So, and it's weird watching pre-recorded of yourself as you're talking into the microphone. What are you doing over there?
Are we live still?
I don't know.
Yes.
He says we are.
Oh yeah, he says we are.
We are. All right.
So let's move forward.
All right. Well, somebody will text me and we'll pick up where we left off. But
in the meantime,
so go ahead. Your question again.
Oh, my question was just your stance on abortion. You're independent anyway, so this doesn't.
So I think it is a financial decision. I think both people should be involved. But if it's just you know, do I want this kid for the rest of my life? It probably still both should be involved. But ultimately, it's going to be a woman's choice.
Yeah.
This is a tough one, but I'm not. I wouldn't say pro-choice, you know. I guess I am pro-choice then, right?
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, obviously, as on the left, we end up being.
Or can you put the other screen
end up
up
on the
there
side
so
of
we
pro-choice.
can tell if we're
but the
good
reason that I even brought that up was because of the billions in population that Nori had up on the screen a little while ago, where. This is gonna the people, the conservatives tend to fall on the don't have an abortion. The problem with the left has with that is they also sometimes fall on the side of don't, you know, the anti-contraceptive or, you know, the
yeah. But again, it goes back to government having too much say over your personal life. But with that, you know, as the population grows, it's going to grow faster.
We're going to spiral out of control.
Absolutely. So I think we're probably already past the tipping point.
Not
as far
quite.
As
we're close. We're close. But
stability.
you know, with the conservatives pushing their anti-abortion, we're going to go right over the edge.
Yeah. Well,
if you're anti, how can you look at the population of the planet growing exponentially? I mean, it's crazy how fast it's growing, and not be on the side of contraception. And even though I'm not personally, I don't fall on the side of I don't think I would have an abortion, or like, you know, or condone it for my significant other. But
I think you can have an abortion,
right? You know what I'm saying.
Well, but can you? So you were talking earlier about
you don't
gender,
right,
and stuff like that, and
I don't think we were alive then.
We weren't.
Okay.
We weren't, but where you said if you were to have an abortion or whatever the hell you just said, I wasn't really listening. He's like, oh, tone deaf to bullshit. But so what? The whole gender thing, right?
Yeah.
And this may offend some people. It may not. I don't know. But I really don't talk too much about it because I really don't have a strong opinion either way. But you know, well, I guess I do. But ultimately, if you can call yourself whatever you want, if you want to identify as a fucking pencil sharpener, then you can be a pencil sharpener. However, there are 2 genders.
Right.
There are 2 sexes.
You know, there are some cultures that don't believe that. I think Thailand.
My culture
has
believes
five genders.
So how many was it? So there's X and a Y. What else do they introduce? Like A, B, and C, or how's that work?
If you're going to get technical on X and Y, but they have like.
So technical. I mean, is it not? It's factual, is it not?
Yeah, but these type of people
are out of their fucking minds.
We can't deny their existence.
Okay.
Now,
and they're probably crazy.
There have been some research studies, and I was talking about this earlier, where you weren't listening to bullshit. No,
I was busy making that popcorn.
Yeah, and it's good. Thank you. There are some research studies that have pretty much come to the conclusion that your brain has a sex. So it's therefore possible.
Your brain has a sex.
The brain has a sex, and it has to do with being exposed to certain
drugs,
hormones in utero, you know, during the developmental process, and so
your,
on a technicality,
your brain has a sex.
Your brain has its own sex, and it is possible to have basically a male or female wired brain in the opposite body. So, like, can you imagine what that would be like for somebody? Like to have your brain wired one way and your physiology not matched.
I mean, growing up, we call those tomboys.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was a nice way to put it back in the day.
Yeah, now there's certain words you can't say.
No, you shouldn't say. Yeah.
Right, why not?
Wow.
It's just a word.
It is just a word.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names hurt like hell now?
Well,
is that how how it goes now, right?
No, it's just you don't. Why be offensive to somebody? Why do you need?
Why be offended? I mean, why is it any of my business what you people think about me? I can't control your thoughts.
Well, no, but you can on some level. You can control what I think about you by your statements.
Why waste that energy
when
I can be focused on other things? I mean, think about how many around me. I can't control everybody. I can only control me. I need that verbal bitch slap upside the head. So, but growing up, you didn't actually call a tomboy. You just went out and rode bikes and jumped. I see the post I put on Facebook, I think just yesterday, with the kid's like 9 feet in the air, no helmet, just living life.
That's how we rolled back then.
But if a girl were to do the same thing, you wouldn't say, "Oh, she's a tomboy." She was just hanging out. You were just kids.
Right. But the older they got, the more they identified in the other direction.
But now we seem like we have to put labels on everybody. That's basically my point. Is
some of it's self-labeling.
Yeah. Well, there was a video on YouTube, self-labeling, right? I can't remember the guy's name, but it's "Prove Me Wrong." Okay. And I think it was there are two sexes or two genders. Prove me wrong.
Right.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I think I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't think we can show it, nor if we're this young in our YouTube.
Is it a meme or is it a
No,
video?
He's on a college campus. Yeah, Tyler Joseph, Prove Me Wrong.
Well, you either end up...
So he has a series of things that he does. Is that his name, or is that just what popped up first? Oh, okay, it's a song. So there we go. Louder with Crowder, I'm being told. So, regardless, don't pull that up until we figure out what we can and can't play on YouTube.
But again, with the research studies about the brain possibly having an alternate sex in the body,
so
I mean,
gender pronouns.
I would have to look that up.
So, gender pronouns.
Gender pronouns, okay.
How ridiculous is that?
Well, I think it's a personal preference for those people.
How am I supposed to know?
You're not. They will. Well, you know what? If you're worried, let's say, for example,
I'm not worried at all.
No,
I
mean,
it's just. I think it's
if
ridiculous.
If you were concerned about it, like, let's say you were.
I'm not.
Let's say you were having a conversation with a transvestite or something like that, or you weren't sure.
I've been playing poker, and the person made a bet. And after they won the hand, or someone asked me, who won that hand, and I didn't know whether to say he won or she won or the unicorn won. I mean, who knows, right? But it was this person. I say it, but this person was clearly not aligned one direction or the other. It was the Saturday Night Live Pat person, right?
Okay, right, yeah.
And the voice was right in the middle. The clothing was very neutral. It was no distinct. I say she because I really do believe it was a woman. They were a woman. I hate calling people it. That does seem harsh, right?
That seems to objectify.
But what do you call someone that you really cannot tell? And again, trying not to be offensive. So by asking them, okay, so the same thing. How many months are you? What are you, a fucking asshole? I'm no months. I just like to eat, right?
Okay.
So same thing. So there's most of those people, right? Mm-hmm. Most of those people would be offended if someone said, "What do you prefer to be called?" But at the same time, if you call them by the wrong gender pronoun,
well, they'll let you know.
Right.
They'll let you know. But I would rather ask and be like, "Listen, I'm not sure how you want to be identified."
So just in that alone. Could that not be offensive? But you've identified them as not being male or female.
Well, no. You've identified that you don't know how they want to be referred to. What's your name? And just say, you could even say, "What's your name?" And then, and if she in your head tells you Doug, then you can suddenly switch up.
Right. Which still doesn't mean they identify as a male.
No, but not exactly. It's stop confusing me.
So that's yeah, I guess that's my point. It is confusing.
It's confusing, but you know what? From somebody that would be transgendered, they might say that they understand that it's confusing and just ask. You know, I've met a few like that.
How many gender pronouns are there right now?
Just he, she. I think there's a. I think that's it.
There's like 70 plus.
Well, no, that's how you identify. Like,
Well, isn't that a gender pronoun?
You and I would qualify as like cisgender.
I mean, growing up, and even before all this craziness, it was tough to identify someone as a Miss, Ms., or Mrs. You know, but it was easily correctable.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss, it's Mrs.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't notice your wedding ring.
Right.
But the whole thing between Ms. and Miss, well, what's really? Even back then, it was only 3 female gender pronouns, but you still could screw it up. Mm-hmm. Noy, how many were there? Did you see? Yeah, way too many. You know, like okay, so LGBT now there's Q.
I support. Well, it's
So no, fine, but I'm saying so isn't if you were to call someone a queer, is that not offensive?
well, it would definitely be offensive if they weren't queer, but
But if they were,
I don't know what that is. What that would be.
I don't either. I don't know either. But it's LGBTQ.
LGBTQT.
Whatever. I got all the letters in there, right? I know it starts with an L and there's a T and a G and a B.
Yeah.
So now there's a Q. But if I were to say, you know, so and so is a queer, is that derogatory?
I'm not sure if I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how people are identifying in that. I don't know how they're identifying. I don't know how they're self-identifying, but I will say that you know what, I'm cool with whatever you want to be. You know?
Yeah, no, I don't. Listen, what someone wants to do, as long as it doesn't affect me personally, my life, and I don't care.
I don't think most people do. But now let's take that up a notch. Let's talk about just for a second. What's your opinion on transgenders in the military?
Wow.
I mean, you were in the Coast Guard.
8 years, yeah. Transgenders in the military. So when I was in, it was don't ask, don't tell.
Right.
Which is basically just saying, you know what, we don't know what we want to do about this, but you know, if you don't come out of the closet, we won't ask you about it. Right. I think that is a pretty tricky subject because so
that's why I brought it up.
Right. And it's hard for me to even answer this without sounding sexist. I don't know how long ago. Nori, how long ago did they start allowing female applicants into special forces, Navy SEALs in particular?
That was recent.
It was like the last couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So I know last year, maybe 2016, I think there was the first SEAL applicant. I'm positive it didn't work out well for that female. So transgenders in the military, fine if you can do the job.
That's right.
Right?
I'm all for that.
Fine if you can do the job. However,
look, if you want to be a Navy SEAL and you're supposed to lift this much weight or have this much duration in the water,
they definitely shouldn't be more. They shouldn't be double standards. You know, the physical testing for women in the military. So yeah, she dropped out. What's the date on that? May 12th, 17? August 12th, 2017. So a little over a year ago. And I think it's going to continue to be that way for a couple of reasons. One, BUDS, which is the SEAL pipeline, the SEAL basic school, basic underwater demolition / S for SEAL, is by most considered the toughest pipeline training in the world, let alone the military. So, and the military has different standards. They got female standards for physical fitness and you know testing, and male standards. I mean, a female, typically, most females don't have the same muscle build or structure, the physical abilities as males. Sexist or not sexist, I think it's a fact. Scientific at that. Yep. So can they be expected to do the same job? So this, you had a transgender male who was a female now is expected to do the same job as a male, right? They don't have the physical ability to do the same job. A lot of women can, right? Don't get me wrong. But yeah, so I mean they can. If they can do the job, they can do the job.
Right.
I'm not opposed to it, but then again, what I know you served as well. What were you in?
Oh, Jesus. Air Force, National Guard.
The Chair Force?
All right. Really?
So yes.
We're the guys the Marines call
Move
for
your
cover.
mic a little bit closer to you.
We're the guys the Marines call for air support,
so.
you know?
Yeah. So, no, I mean, every branch of the military has a definite specific function, but I think the general consensus is the Chair Force. I mean, you guys, it's more of a office job, really?
Back in the day, well, I will say this. Back in the day when we were doing, like, our... what is it when you do...
so you can't even remember.
Well, it's been that long. Yeah, it's been that long. You go and you do your 2 weeks, and sometimes there'll be like...
You guys, tell me your basic training was more than 2 weeks.
Well, you did like 6 weeks. And then
it's 6 weeks.
And then you did tech school, and then you did... I don't know what it is now, but then you did
I think
tech
it's
school.
down to 8 now, but I'm pretty sure it was like 12. I think when my dad went through it was like 16. And then they could like
beat
full
you.
metal jacket your ass, you know? Choke yourself type deal.
That was back in the day. But what were the evaluations called? When they would evaluate your unit, and we would, when we deployed for our 2 weeks in the summer, you know, we would go to Otis Air Force Base on Cape Cod.
As a reserve.
As a
drill. So it was drill.
Right. And we would spend that time in air-conditioned barracks.
That's my point.
Yeah, right.
Right? And nothing wrong with air conditioning, but the fact is that most of the time the Air Force is not going to be on the ground outside of an air-conditioned zone. You guys probably have air conditioning in your jets and shit, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? So the Air Force, right? And I forget, why did we go down that rabbit hole about the military? You asked me something about transgenders.
Yeah, transgender in the military. You said, I know you were in the Air Force, and then we just went down that.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, the military in general calls from such a giant cross-section of society.
Right.
There's going to be people who don't accept them.
Right.
Is that
Sure.
right? And,
Sure.
Or let's say instead of them, the transgenders, they don't accept them. Bad shit can happen, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I'm not saying it's right.
No, it's definitely not right.
But, so how do you, I mean...
Well, that's where the protections come in with regulations, you know? Like,
what shower does a transgender person use?
The shower that they want.
Really?
That's, you know what I mean? Like, that's the bathroom. Which bathroom should you use? The bathroom that you want. Then you have the
bathroom that you want, huh?
Well, if you're identifying as female and you feel more comfortable in a female bathroom...
What about the females who don't accept that? Why should they be subject to someone thinking they're a female?
Then don't use a public restroom.
Well, no, we didn't.
That's why it's so public.
Right. But in the military, there's especially on a base, there's not really public. There's no public.
Well, it's a base.
Right. But there's no public.
But there are men and women.
There's really not a public restroom.
Right.
There's a men's restroom and a women's restroom. So should there be an other?
Well, I notice in...
Of course not.
Wait, in most places...
Because then aren't you just opening those transgender people for more scrutiny and isolation?
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, the transgender in the military is... it's probably a lot more rare of an event than... I think what we're discussing... we've gone down into the realm of just possibility. I did, but we're entering the realm of possibility. I don't know what the military will do to accommodate them. I can tell you that Trump doesn't want to accommodate them, and I don't know whether that is because he thinks they're an expenditure.
You think his
think
his advisors are advising him that way, or is he just being Trump?
I think that's all. I think that's a lot of Trump being Trump. You know, he's trying to play to his base, but. As far as transgenders go, you know, I mean, as a liberal, would use whatever damn bathroom you want. But if you're with somebody or you see people that, you know, think may not like agree with you using the same bathroom as them at the same time, I'm for the third bathroom, like the family bathroom. You see it in the airport, right? Anybody can use it, you know. Like, how hard is it to accommodate? And most bathrooms are.
I don't think it would be hard to accommodate. I just don't think it should be accommodated.
Okay.
Because like I said, I think that will just cause further isolation.
But see, then in a way that denies almost you're denying their existence in a sense, like that. Well, like for example, I can't like if somebody that you knew or somebody that you cared about came out as transgender, and you were out in public and they needed to use a restroom, right? And they didn't want to go in, let's say, the men's room because, whatever, and they wanted to go use the ladies' room. Is it that big of a deal in most cases, or if there's a third, a family option, like they should be in public. They have the right to feel just as safe and as accommodated as everybody else. Same with the handicapped people. There's a handicapped bathroom. There's handicap accessibility, all of these things. I mean,
I don't think that's so.
Like
you saying
some people,
transgenders are mentally handicapped?
No, I'm not saying that.
A person
at all.
doesn't choose to be handicapt.
No, but a person doesn't choose to be disabled. A person doesn't.
They choose to be transgender. I mean, it's not like
no,
someone strapped them down and cut their dick off.
Now we're crossing into treacherous waters.
Well, they choose. It's not like they're forced to have that.
No, some would say that they are. That's like saying that you choose to be a homosexual or you choose to be, you choose to be a lesbian. You don't choose. These people know this.
So, all right. So let's yes or no. A transgender surgery is an elective procedure.
Is an elective procedure. Yes.
So that's a choice.
Yes.
So they choose to be something they weren't born.
Yes, or
an anatomical standpoint.
But yeah,
they had a dick. They don't want it. They get rid of it.
Right.
They tuck whatever they do. They tuck it in. I don't know how that works. Yes. It don't matter to me because it ain't happening to me. Right. So again, you do whatever you want.
But they would argue it's a correction of an error, and
it's elective.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like that. You went to your doctor one day and he says, "Hey, you know what? I see you have an extra thing down there. I'm gonna schedule you for a surgery," and you're just like, "Oh, okay." But at the same time, if you have a growth on your back and the doctor says, "Oh, I want to check that," I'm going to sample it or whatever they do, and it comes back and it says, "Hey, this cancerous, we should take it out." That's not really elective at that point, because that's like you're going to live or die, right? It's cancerous. Sure. You got to take it off.
Yeah.
So a transgender doesn't go to the doctor one day. Were you going to feed the pigeons?
I am. This is good.
So a transgender doesn't go to the doctor one day and he says, "Hey, Chris, I see you still have that penis thing going on there. I'm going to get rid of that for you because I see your head identifies you as a female. Your brain shows a different sex."
I will say this, though. They have a higher rate of suicide because they're not
because
fixed.
Something's already wrong with their head.
Yeah, but like this is...
Your brain identify... I mean, really? Basically, you are your brain, right?
You are your brain. And if your brain says you're a female and your body doesn't, that's a big disconnect.
That they should have medication for that.
Yeah, but which way are you trying to make? They do have medication for that, but they're not fixing your brain. Well, they're fixing your body.
Isn't it as easy as saying, your birth certificate says you're a male, you have a penis, you think you're a female, I'm going to give you some medication to stabilize that.
Life is life. There's no medication to stabilize.
And I'm not, again, so that sounds kind of harsh probably, right? But I'm not saying that if you think you're a different gender than what your body reveals you as, that you have something wrong with you.
No, I'm not saying.
I'm just saying. You said it's not optional. I'm telling you, in my opinion, it is. You choose to do that.
Well, I'm not saying that we should accommodate everybody's every little thing. Like if I decided I was going to identify,
do you draw a line, and who decides where that line is?
Well, I think when it comes to sexuality, like we have to admit that there are people out there who are gay, lesbian. You can't deny their existence, and the transgender, you can't deny that they exist. Now, whether you want it to be, whether you want to claim it's a choice or claim it's genetics or whatever, they exist, and they have a right to feel and be the way that they are, and so.
Yeah,
making
I don't disagree, but I still think it's optional.
making a small accommodation. Is it such a big deal?
What are we talking about? Small accommodation?
Like, for example,
back to the bathrooms?
does it matter which bathroom? Like, yeah, you know what? Maybe it does matter which bathroom.
It doesn't bother me, and I think the U.S. is in the minority of actually having sexually separated bathrooms. Anyways, I think most of the free world, or most of the world in general, has unisex bathrooms.
Right.
And that would change a lot of things. But we have our own cultural things over here, and that's what makes us who we are.
Right.
So, I mean, it doesn't bother me. Even if I was in the men's room and a woman walked in, a big deal.
Right. You think at first I would think it was a mistake, but
okay, but it's different when a woman's in a woman's bathroom and a man walks in.
Well, that's very sexist.
Is it not? But am I wrong?
Well, I'm not saying that you're wrong. Our engineer just held up a sign that said the USA is a melting pot.
Well, it is, but that's what I'm saying. Most cultures.
That's why we're building a wall.
Yeah. Well, for now, I guess we have like a fence. Little small steps. So it is a melting pot. And what basically, you either come to America to be in America, or you come to America to be an American, right? So what is being an American? It's accepting everybody pretty much equally.
We don't, and we never have as much as we never have.
No, to the beginning.
Whether it was the Italians, the blacks, the Irish, we never have. We have been one of the most segregating countries. I mean, even Europe is leaps and bounds ahead of us as far as acceptance.
How's that working out for them with all the refugees?
Well, I knew you were
they're running through the streets with friggin' hatchets and machetes and shit, chopping people up.
But there's
the guns are legal.
Wait.
The cops don't even have guns, right?
That's in Great Britain.
Wherever. It's where I know where that dude was holding like the city hostage with a machete. Try that shit over here. Right.
Well, they got him eventually.
He ran out of room to runners. I mean,
he got tired.
Right. So it's Indiana Jones, the dude with the knives, right?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Right. Well, I mean,
so
the same guy in London, I think, used a truck.
If Europe is so great, when do you leave?
No, Europe is so great. No, see, this is the country.
When are all the celebrities coming back from Canada? Didn't they all leave?
Most of the celebrities are from Canada. That's the crazy thing.
And actually, as far as gender pronouns concerned, I think part of Canada,
Quebec is
by law. You have to use the proper gender pronoun, or it's by law. Like you can be prosecuted.
Huh. No, as far as Europe and the refugees go, here's the thing. And as far as refugees go in this country, refugees are vetted pretty well, right? And even the ones...
Wait. So in this country, I don't think they're called refugees. They're called immigrants. So is it illegal or illegal?
No, they come in refugee status. And then you can call them...
I've dropped some off.
You can call them immigrants.
I've dropped some off.
Okay.
And they process through Guantanamo Bay.
Right.
And then they're shipped over. I wasn't part of the second phase, but most of them we dropped back off in whether it was Port-au-Prince, Haiti, or wherever. But to me, those are refugees.
Right.
People who jump the border, those are illegal immigrants.
Those are immigrants.
So at what point do you stop becoming a refugee? When are you considered an immigrant versus a refugate? So the refugee is the person who's in the process of getting here. An immigrant, someone who's already here, trying to illegally acclimate into our society, right?
If you're already here, then you've done it unlawfully.
That's not true.
Well, I mean,
there's people with green cards and work visas.
If you border jump, then you're. And again, this has become a left-right issue, but it's not really. It's not like we're not. It's not like the left isn't about border security, right? But
seems like it. They demonize everybody who says anything about illegal immigrants. They forget about the illegal part and they make it about immigrants.
But the problem is, they're here. Now, you can try to round them up and ship them out, or you can try to build a wall, but the majority of illegal immigration happens by people overstaying their visa, or whatever you want to call it. They fly into the airport. Do you think it's
accidental?
Huh? No, I don't think it's accidental.
So they're illegal.
Yeah, they become.
So what do you do with them?
Well, here's the thing. If you encounter them, you ship them home. But then what happens if,
So as a Democrat,
case by case basis.
Hold on. So as a leftist, liberal, Democrat, whatever other adjective I want to use to describe you, right? How do you identify? Left, liberal, Democrat?
I liberal Democrat.
So you're saying that if you come across an illegal immigrant, they should be shipped back to whatever the hell country they came from?
No.
That's what you said.
No. Like on a case by case basis. There are people who are who have come over here. They've been here for years. They haven't committed any crimes, but they have a family now, and they're living in fear. Now,
but did they come legal?
No.
So is that the person with the expired visa?
That could be the person with the expired visa.
It's black or white now. So is it or is it not? Your instance, did they have a legal visa and it expired?
Well, it depends. Did they?
No. Yes or no? In your instance, did they or didn't they?
Oh, in my instance,
this example you're giving.
In my instance, no. They came across the border.
Then they get shipped out.
Okay.
If they did, they should be given an opportunity to renew the visa, maybe fined, but it's the same thing as saying,
the problem with that,
I broke into this hunting store and I stole a gun and I've had it for a little while now, so it's no longer a crime.
The problem with that, again, it boils down to the money. As much as there's a right, as much as there's a legitimate and legal way.
Do you agree with me though? If someone got into our country illegally and they're discovered having broke the law,
yeah, but
they should be deported.
It's not a huge, it's like almost a civil offense.
But it's still an offense.
Yeah, it is an offense.
So what do you do with them? Do you keep them or ship them?
It depends on. You could find them.
Do you keep them?
There are plenty of other options. You don't have to ship them.
You're not going to answer.
You can find them. No, I'm giving you other options. You're making it black and white, like you have to ship them or we have to keep them. No, we can find them. We can evaluate them on a case-by-case basis. Like, do they have family? Who are we going to hurt by shipping this person out? This could be somebody's mother, could be somebody's dad, and the kid, of course, is who's born here. You cannot say that. Isn't
that like the birther thing, right?
No, the birther was all about Obama. But there were people trying to say that if illegal immigrants came over here and had a baby, right, then that baby is not a citizen. That can't be correct, because your citizenship is always your place of birth. What are you going to do? That kid's going to have no country. Where are you going to ship him back to? He really has no country. This is his country. He was born here. But who are you going to hurt by shipping the parent out?
The kid.
You're going to hurt the kid, and then who's going to? Now there's, even if it was under the table income, who's going to pay for the kid?
Well, we are, right?
See everything. I think the problem with the left and the right is everything has become black and white. But people with common sense know that the world is all shades of gray. All shades of gray. And there is a middle ground. Like, we can get rid of all the bad ones. We can, you know what? Maybe if you're a single dude and you crossed the border 6 months ago, you know what I mean? And you've been working under the table at a farm in whatever, you know what? Maybe that farm, does a farm guy want to sponsor you?
All right. So, yeah, that could make sense.
That could, there are multiple answers to these questions, and not all of them will work, and I don't claim to know all the answers, but it doesn't have to be snatch them up, ship them out. If they're coming here and they're working, because believe me, I don't want to work for less than minimum wage picking tomatoes on a farm in New Mexico or whatever, right? But somebody's got to do it.
That's somebody's skill set.
That's somebody's skill set.
You've applied yourself, and you've worked beyond that point with your skill set, and you're no longer minimum wage worker.
Right. So.
But there's people in the country that could do that.
Yeah, but
that are legal citizens.
Right. There are people that could do that are legal citizens, but they're not all in New Mexico.
We've got this sense of entitlement that we're too good for that kind of work. So someone has to do it.
We do have a sense of entitlement.
So there you go. There's work visas. There's sponsors. There's ways around it.
There's ways around it. But even if now we have
why can't they process legally just like
because the process legally is it's long, and you have people coming.
So the process is broken.
The process is broken.
Okay.
Like if a farmer needs laborers, right? Then maybe it's seasonal. Maybe they come up. Maybe they come across the border, and then they go back home with their money, with the dollars that they made. They should be happy, and then next season they do it again. You know.
So we need to figure that shit out.
We need to, but we have to sit down and have a conversation. It's not black and white. There's so many ways to solve a problem like that are much more sensible than just snatch him up and ship him out. Because even though that guy's never committed a crime that we're snatching up and shipping out, by taking him out of the labor force for that particular farm,
You're hurting the farm.
You're hurting the farm. But
Prices
now,
go up.
mind you, the farm is paying. Now, there's a whole other issue. This farm has got under the table workers working for them. So taxes aren't getting. So you could go round and round and round.
Of course.
But the farm needs to survive.
I'm not saying there's an easy fix.
No, there's not an easy fix, but there's a better fix.
I'm just saying at the base level, you're either legal or illegal.
It doesn't have to be that level, though. That's we're labeling it. Like, it doesn't have to be like that. That's all I'm saying. Is we can be.
So you think there's like illegal immigrant, legal immigrant, and
no.
We need this guy. So
no,
we're gonna...
in the black and white world of the law,
well,
legal
with crime,
system,
it's either against the law or it's not, right?
Right. In the black and white in that, you have plenty of illegal immigrants that something needs to be done with. You have plenty of illegal immigrants that have been here for years and haven't committed a crime at all and have actually contributed, paid taxes, whatever you want to call it. What do you do with them? Do you just grab them up, rip them away from their families, and ship them out? Execute them. How Trumpish of you.
CNN, live TV, just boom. The question is, do we hang them, drown them, or shoot them?
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
We shouldn't execute them on CNN. Or at all right? Be specific.
What should we talk about next?
I don't know. Have you heard, again, back to Elon Musk, because that was a pretty interesting podcast that Joe Rogan did. Have you heard, and you're the nerd, right? Have you heard of this, I think it's called a Neuralink?
Oh, yeah.
You have.
I've seen it.
I've
seen it on.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen articles about it.
Yeah.
Where they can.
No, I'm certainly not going to doubt Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I think if he's working on it, that shit's going to happen.
Yeah.
But at that point, what do you call it? Because it's no longer artificial intelligence. It's a true interface. So Are we moving into the Matrix?
I don't think we're moving into the Matrix quite nearly as fast as some people might like. But
well, I mean, that's a relative term, though, right? Fast. I mean, if you think about through the course of time, how long have we, as a species, been on the planet?
I don't know, civilizations or on some level, bare bones, maybe 50,000 years.
What's that say? 200,000 years ago. Something like that. So the Homo sapiens.
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, so it's a long time. So just in the last 40, 50 years.
The Industrial Revolution.
Went to the moon.
Yeah.
I mean, look, everything has happened even in the last 20 years.
Yeah,
Internet.
But do you know why we've been held back for so long? Conservatives.
Okay. Sure. So my point is, when you say... so my point is, when you say fast, right?
Yeah.
Even if it takes another 20 years for this Neuralink to become a thing, that's like a blink of the eye as far as the course of history.
Right, but right now we're on just the
Do you think you'll see it in your life, in your lifetime?
No, we're on that.
No, I think you will.
I don't know that we will. We're on the edge of just the basics, like when you put on the neural net and then somebody else puts on the neural net and they think about specific like things like colors or something like that, and it lights up a specific part of the brain, right? So that the other person can guess what color you're thinking of because that's being stimulated on their brain. This is that's the bare,
okay, but
like,
with
the minimum.
with all technology as it develops pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, breakthroughs. What is it? They had some robots or something actually develop their own language, and they had to turn them off, right?
Yes, they had some artificial intelligence.
Is it scared the hell out of them? They didn't know.
They didn't know what language they were more efficient. Right? The basically the devices decided that the language they were using was completely inefficient.
But how quick did that happen?
Pretty quick.
So
like really quick.
How do we know that once the Neuralink it becomes online or they start doing more extensive testing? Hang on. If we can figure out the broadband, right?
Yeah.
And we get enough of the data width or whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. I don't pretend
bandwidth,
yeah. That now you have download, upload, you get the right speeds or whatever, however that stuff works. Who's to say your mind can even handle it?
We're a long way from that. But yeah.
What percentage of the brain do we actually use?
We use 100% of the brain. Don't believe any of the crap that it's, it may not all be active at the same time, but you use 100% of the brain. That's a myth.
Really?
Yes.
I disagree.
Okay.
I believe the hype.
You believe the hype? That's a problem with conservatives.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I think the Neuralink it's definitely a game changer. So, I do think it could potentially be a way to like checks and balances with AI, though, artificial intelligence. I think artificial intelligence could be a real issue. And because the machines are going to get smart enough to realize they don't need us.
Right. Well, that's just it. We are very inefficient. Well, in some ways we're efficient. Like the way we use energy, we store energy. We're efficient like that. But as far as everything else goes, like how fast we develop or how fast we can work through a math problem or things like that, we're very slow. They are leaps and bounds ahead of us, and they have been for years, and it's only going to get worse.
Well, it's input, output, right? Think about how many things you can see and hear at the same time. But you can only speak so fast, you can only type so fast, you can only write so fast. Right. So that's the output.
Right.
But input it's almost limitless. Of course, you probably don't retain it all, or do you retain it, you just can't recall it?
It's right? There somewhere. You just don't recall it.
So how many gigabytes do we have?
I forget.
In our brain.
Somebody.
Has someone tried to calculate that?
Yeah, somebody did. How many gigabytes do we have in our brain?
And that's not confusing at all, right? I mean, it's just when you start talking about quantum, that must be some kind of quantum calculation.
What's that?
How many gigabytes your brain has? I mean, they can't measure it.
No, they can. How many neural connections you have? Yeah, they can measure.
Are you making shit up right now because you know I don't know?
No.
I think you are.
No.
How many? Wow, that's a lot. So 110 between 10 terabytes.
Gigabytes? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so between 10 terabytes and 100 terabytes. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
But you got to think that we kind of need that much information because that's much storage because you technically, even though some of it goes into the trash bin, that doesn't mean that it's not there just because you don't recall it. You're remembering every second of your entire life from beginning to end. So
the memories are in there.
It's stored.
So the memories are in there. So with this Neuralink,
now some of it can be rewritten.
We can recall more.
Maybe we can recall more, but some of it might be. I don't know how much gets overwritten or really lost forever. I don't know, but there have been some speculation about that.
All right. So what about we're not getting any younger. I mean, you're pushing 50 now.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm right behind you.
Yeah.
By 2 whole weeks.
Yeah, I know. Right? I know.
What's your biggest fear about getting older? Don't say something stupid.
No, my biggest fear about getting older. Well, I'll tell you what. My a lot of people would say, I'm afraid I'm of death, the eventual end of consciousness. That I'm really not, because even though I identify as an atheist, I don't have a fear of death because basically physics, science, and the concept of eternalism. If you look up eternalism at some point, the math pretty much shows that the past, present, and future are equally real. So,
I think that's concept.
No.
I mean, Nori, can you put that on the screen so people can see it?
Eternalism?
No,
You'd have to watch a video.
So we don't know how to do that yet.
You'd have to watch a video of it.
Nori will find out.
But
for those who listen to this or are watching this and don't know Nori, he is my nephew who is much more computer savvy than I. So he is deemed the engineer of the show.
Yeah. Scotty, I need more power.
Yeah, there's the nerd. And there's another nerd. Of course, I know those lines and stuff. So, a sidetrack though.
Yeah,
weren't you actually cast as an extra in a Star Trek or something?
No, I had a relative.
Oh, damn it. Anyways.
As an extra.
Yeah. So, you didn't answer. Getting old, what's your biggest fear?
Well, basically retirement, I think, and having enough money. Because eventually I can't continue. I'm going to get too old to do the job that I do.
Do you like to taste the cat food?
No, I don't like to taste cat food. Although I've never tried it.
You might like it.
I might like it.
I've had milk bones.
You know what? I think I have too. I think I have too.
My Uncle Harry, he ate one, and I felt like it would be worthwhile. Yeah, it would be a worthwhile endeavor.
And was it?
And I tried it. I haven't had a second one.
You haven't had a second one?
No, I haven't had a second one.
That's funny.
So retirement.
Yeah.
Just being broke.
Yeah, just having enough money to, because, rent or taxes or whatever, that stuff never goes away.
Death and taxes.
Yeah.
You see Joe Black? You ever see that movie?
It rings a bell.
No, God damn it. You're not my friend anymore.
I probably have seen it.
It's Brad Pitt. There's one scene in the movie where someone coins that phrase. So he's supposed to be Death, the Grim Reaper.
Okay.
And someone says death and taxes, and he says death and taxes, right? So he's Death. He only identifies. So but it's funny that we group taxes in the same as death.
Yeah, you
Those
never
are the
get
two
rid
certainties
of it.
in life, right?
You're gonna get taxed, and
yeah. Usually because you're gonna get taxed and taxed and taxed and taxed some more, and then you're gonna throw your ass in jail if you don't pay your taxes.
I mean, at pushing almost 50 and spending damn near every ounce of money that I bring in, you worry.
So you weigh your money?
Pretty much.
Right? You spend every ounce of it, right?
I spend every ounce of it.
Yeah. Yes, I am a literal.
Damn near.
Damn
near.
I think for me, because we're talking about memory and stuff, this is what made me think of it.
Losing,
Alzheimer's.
Well, that ran
awful. And so at the point where
my family.
Well,
my grandmother had it. My great grandmother had it.
So I think, I feel terrible for people who have to deal with it, not just the person but the family, because you gotta wonder, are they still present? Like, they have flashes where they are, they're not, but you identify yourself by your memories, right? We were talking about the memory, the 100 terabytes or whatever. So when you can no longer access that, or it gets corrupted, maybe this neural link could be a way to combat that. So I'm all for it.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of research into Alzheimer's. They're hoping that by the time we are, like maybe in our children's lifetime, they'll have it figured out and eradicated. But
yeah,
we can only hope.
I do hope.
Yeah.
All right. So we were talking the other day also, and I don't know if you did any research on it about Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. I didn't. You know what? No, I didn't do any research on that.
So he is.
I'm still recovering from Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah. So Bill Cosby. I'm gonna just gloss right over that. So Bill Cosby, I believe the woman who was actually finally responsible with putting him in prison had a change of stance a little bit on her story.
Right.
So he basically has a life sentence, right? He's probably going to die in behind bars. So if she loosens her stance and he goes forward with an appeal, do you think that's money well spent as far as whatever she got paid to change her mind?
If she got paid to change her mind and she changes her mind, then she was never credible to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, but she was just one of many. That's the issue. You know.
Right, but she's I'm not an expert on it, right? But
I don't know that.
Saw a headline, and it seems like she was the tipping point.
Yeah.
And so now her story is not so solid. So I think if they revisit that, they probably have to reverse that, throw it out.
Oh yeah, yeah. If she
so would that be mistrial? So he'd be able to be tried again, right?
I don't know if it's called a mistrial. It would just be they would just throw out the verdict and start over. Yeah, and I don't even think they can, because you can't be tried for the same crime twice.
Which is why O.J. wrote the book, right? After he was not guilty.
Right.
I mean, what a just terrible luck. I mean, that poor bastard. Everybody knows or thinks he got off on double homicide, right? And then he gets thrown in jail for stealing his own shit.
Yeah, right. Stealing his own stuff, allegedly, yeah.
I mean, come on.
I don't know. You can't fix stupid. I don't know.
You can't fix stupid. It should be painful. In some cases, it is painful. But there's nothing we can do about that.
Well, what else should we talk about? Our childhood?
No, we don't want to bore everybody. Well, yours is probably boring. Mine wasn't boring.
Mine was pretty boring until I met you.
Right. So that's right. Yeah, I mean, if people wouldn't guess, well, maybe, people who know you know how absolute of a nerd you are. And knowing that, they would not know that you actually played football or tried to play football very briefly in high school. Yeah,
I was never really interested in it.
I think I convinced you to play just so I could fuck you up.
Yeah.
You were too fast.
I was pretty quick, yeah.
You were too fast. I never did get you.
Yeah.
I never did get you.
Like, I can't remember the big guy on...
We had a bunch of big guys. We had a bunch of big guys.
One of them, remember one tackled me? I was like, what the... Like, I was supposed to do something, but instead he just plowed into me.
I don't know who you're talking about. But we had a bunch of big guys.
Yeah. No, it was fun, but it wasn't like I didn't know enough about it.
No, that's what made it more fun.
That what made it more fun. Yeah.
So I think we covered a bunch of topics today. Yeah. I don't know that.
We could talk for you and I could talk for days.
But a lot of it's going to be nonsensical and not. You
won't get the references.
People not going to be able to follow us.
Yeah.
We're up to 3 viewers though. I feel like we have to keep talking now. So.
Well, you're going to have to get more. The more you do this, and the guests will come.
I can't read that, Nori. What's that say?
25 women.
What about it?
I think that was on Bill Cosby.
Oh. Well, there's a lot more than 25. 25 might have been like a
25
weekend.
Reported it.
25 in a weekend. But that whole Me Too movement, I mean, there should definitely be some repercussion for falsely,
there should be
accusing.
Well, there should be repercussions for falsely accusing.
Well, yeah. What do they say?
I don't know. I wasn't sure where you were going.
2 ears, 1 mouth, right? You got to listen twice as much, something like that.
Something like that.
So there was recently, the last few weeks, I believe, there was someone who was released after spending several years in prison. He was a top high school football prospect, and he was falsely accused of rape, and he was released.
Yeah.
I think
those are tragic
that woman
stories.
should absolutely be thrown in jail.
Yeah, absolutely, she should. There should be some.
And she destroyed. I wouldn't say destroyed his life, but she definitely took a lot of his youth away. Right? I mean, just the concept of throwing people in cages is kind of strange. In general, what if Elon Musk should invent like this time teleport? You're accused and you of some kind of capital crime, rather than kill you, just like teleport you back with a T-Rex or something. Fend for yourself type deal. That would be pretty cool. Right? But of course that would be abused.
That would be abused.
That would be
quite
abused.
A bit.
That would be abused. What No, is someone posting that up there? Are those comments?
Someone's commented. It said false accuser.
Who is that? That's a screen name? Let's get
Squanchy.
Squanchy. What's a
Hello,
Squanchy?
let's get Squanchy.
Is that like a cousin of Sasquatch or something?
Rick and Morty.
Oh, okay. Yeah, don't. It's probably you.
Love
Are you
Rick.
typing that shit
I
up there?
love Rick and Morty.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
What?
Oh, is that that's not the one you watch?
You are no
right?
longer my friend.
Is that the one with the little baby who sucks all the
No, that's
sugar
regular-
and
that's
cookies?
regular show.
Oh, okay.
Rick and Morty is great.
Yeah, I don't watch it. And sometimes I watch Family Guy.
Okay.
That's about it. Just because who doesn't like Peter Griffin?
Oh, he's hilarious.
Yeah, and what's the Stewie? Right, that's the little kid's name.
Yeah,
he's a
Stewie.
bad motherfucker. That was probably you growing up.
I'm gonna get you with my death ray.
That was probably you growing up. Family Guy is great too. We get one commenter is Sasquatch's cousin.
So wait, now I'm looking at the TV and I'm seeing us like.
Well, it's delayed for sure.
How delayed is it?
Well, you have to ask Nori. I have no idea.
So this isn't delayed, but the YouTube is delayed about 5 seconds.
5
Oh,
seconds.
just in case we.
Just in case we say something.
Yeah, in case you say something and I get angry and shoot you in the face. Yeah, I don't think that's that's questionable.
That's questionable.
You got something you want to tell us?
No.
So, how does your brain identify, sir?
I'm a cis male. You don't even know what that is, do you?
I don't care to.
No, it's
I think it's not like you wear diapers and piss yourself or something.
no. Cisgender is like you identify the way you were born, basically.
I'm just gonna say I'm a male.
Okay.
The cis thing. It just sissy, cis, sister. It just.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
Why can't you just be a male? I mean, why do you have to identify as a cis male?
Well, that's for in case any of those 3 people out there happen to be transgender. I want them to know I do know the terminology. I am a liberal.
Yeah. Where did the chicken come from on Family Guy? How did that originate? You don't watch it enough. He
I've
fights
seen
with this
the chicken. I know.
Right?
And
Where's the chicken? Where'd that? What's the deal with the chicken?
I think it was just random.
And why is he so pissed off?
I don't know.
What did Peter do to that chicken? You gotta wonder. What's that? Oh, all right, still the same person.
Still the same person.
Yeah, we got to get bigger. So
We'll
listen,
get bigger. This is just
let's get.
I don't really count as a guest.
Squanchy, Sasquatch.
Yeah.
So whoever's listening, you need to tell your damn friends.
Yeah.
And we need to get more viewers.
Yeah.
Is what really needs to happen. Like I had to fight with you to share the post on Facebook.
I hardly ever other than political stuff. I am.
But I text you and be like, "Hey, Chris, share."
Yeah,
it.
but I did. But you caught me I don't know what I was doing, painting a deck or something like that.
You guys should be on it. If I post something, you need to. Come on, man.
Okay, I'll be more.
Help us out.
I'll try to be more.
So moving forward, you're going to be somewhat of a co-host when you're available.
When I'm available, yeah, I'll happily come by and
Nori's
I'd love to talk
gonna
politics.
be available all the time. So Nori is like our linchpin. It's like I have to make sure we schedule around his school and work schedule.
Okay.
Saw it on Justice's Snapchat. I'll share this.
No, someone's.
One of your buddies, Justice.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, good job, Sasquatch.
Yeah.
You share that shit.
Squid.
So Nori's going to find a
Squanchy.
way to get this on iTunes.
Okay.
Google Play. What else?
No, but if we could I'd like to see us be more interactive and see if we can
No, fuck that. This is pretty interactive.
This is interactive.
And I don't even know. So there's a delay. Maybe there's a delay on those comments too.
Well, maybe some of the people watching might throw up a subject they would
how
like
many
to hear.
people are we up to? There's 3, right? So there's 3 watching.
Throw up some subjects that you might like to hear us talk about.
Please don't.
Who is it?
Yeah, why not?
That's Squanchy.
Yeah, but
Did I say that right? All right.
yeah, it's fine.
All right. Well, no, we'll take a topic if someone's fast enough, like within the
if they're
next
fast,
2.5 seconds.
See, I like talking politics. I like talking
No,
science.
really?
Hey,
I like talking science.
That's Tim.
Oh, Timmer. So I for sure owned your ass today on the whole politic thing.
I don't know. Well,
No,
I
I
came
know.
completely unprepared. I didn't know what we were going to be talking
I
about.
didn't either. We were talking about it on the way here when I picked up Nori, and I was ridiculed for not having topics. But that's free form.
Right, freeform. But do you know we stand pretty much on the same ground with guns?
No.
No,
No.
like with common sense regulation. You don't go there.
Who decides what's common sense? I mean, common sense is not fucking common. So
the legislature decides, and
Yeah,
then
and
we
how
decide
where do they get their
by our
viewpoints
vote,
from?
by the voters. Oh, actually, by the NRA, who
From
pays
their
them all.
lobbyists.
Yeah, from their lobbyists.
Okay.
It's money.
Who's that? What's going on?
This is kind of fun, like watching the.
D&D. How do you even know that I play D&D or have played D&D?
Hey.
All right, so he's
Hey.
been told. What is that? Like Quidditch or something? What is it? Harry Potter?
Well, don't you recognize that?
Oh, that's the and from
Yes.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, see?
So, yeah, well, we don't have a live feed, so we can't even tell if he's on the camera, Nori. Good, show it again. We
No.
don't even know.
It did, I'm
yeah,
sure. It
so
did,
you
yeah.
are all geeked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
20-second? All right.
Yeah.
So you're all geeked out.
Yeah.
So keep the live feed up.
Yeah. Vinny and I played Dungeons and Dragons for years in school. Sometimes when we were supposed to be in school.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
And then we would play Stratego.
And then Doug had that. It was online. Like the internet just came out.
Yeah,
He had
he
that
had that
D&D game.
game. That game was
How many-
the Curse of the Azure Bonds. That was
It's weird that you
old.
still remember that. But we
I don't
stayed
know.
up countless nights playing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Countless nights.
And that was the slowest game ever. No, it was on disc. It wasn't even when the internet was out. You'd have to buy the discs.
Yeah.
and
No,
run
but
on
wasn't
your
it
computer.
online though?
No. There were other ones that came out afterwards that were kind of online, but
Yeah.
that was a lifetime ago.
So I always played the same character.
Yeah.
She said, I played my first game recently. I died in 9th layer of hell.
Well, Jesus, that's pretty deep.
Wait a
Wait,
minute.
is there so?
At the first
How do
game,
the layers go? Do you start at the first layer?
That's not how Dungeons and Dragons is supposed to work.
Yeah, I think you're playing the wrong game there, Sasquatch.
The game master make that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Chris.
Yeah, I was the
He would have had to make.
The 9
yeah, I was mostly the dungeon master. I was a little bit more detail
Oh,
oriented.
you made all the maps and everything. Though.
Yeah, I like to draw maps and make sure the monsters were in the right places and everybody had a generally good time.
My wife gives me a hard time because all of my characters and stuff are named Tyrone. How far back does that go?
That goes all the way back to high school.
So I had a thief.
Yeah.
in D&D.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Tyrone.
Right? So, no, I did not want to name any of my kids Tyrone, for the record. I joke about it, but... and then my favorite character on the Chappelle Show, Tyrone Biggins.
Tyrone, yeah.
Right? So my thief was Tyrone. It's kind of a joke. Very long running. So it's like 30 plus years now, Tyrone. But he was a bad dude.
Oh,
He
yeah.
wasn't as bad as my paladin.
No, the paladin was tough.
So
He was tough.
I
He was
had a
tougher
s-
than my paladin.
I had a spike. I killed a dragon with a spike.
Oh my god! No, you killed 2 goblins with a spike.
I killed some
I
shit.
can't
Oh,
remember.
I fought a dragon with rocks.
Yes, you did. That was kind of
And
crazy.
I didn't die.
No, you didn't die.
I think.
How did you end up unarmed? I forget. You had lost your
No, I
equipment?
pissed you off, and you made me roll something, and it was like a super critical.
I don't
Whatever you
remember.
call it. I don't.
Oh, you probably lost your sword. You critically failed and threw it or something. You
Yeah.
had to go get it.
It's still I picked up rocks and I
Yeah,
killed the
you
dragon with a
literally-
rock.
You were. I don't know if you actually killed. You had help though, as I recall. But those were the days.
So
I've gotten so much. That was back in the first edition D&D.
yeah,
Now it's gotten so much better. It's like,
I just don't have time.
yeah, I know the feeling.
Like well, it's 12:15, so we got a little more time before the games start. Although the Patriots aren't playing, I'm going to watch some Red Zone.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, the Patriots play today?
Thursday.
Just kidding.
They played
Just kidding.
Thursday. They played Thursday.
Yeah, and-
Motherfucker. Yes, he's really not kidding though. He has no clue. Who's the quarterback for the Patriots? Do you know?
Tom Brady.
What's-
Tom Brady. Was that a question or an answer?
Yeah, that was a question. You probably heard someone say it. But yeah, so we played a lot of D&D.
Yeah, we did.
We played a lot of Stratego.
Yeah, played a
Cut
lot of
school, and
Yeah.
your aunt never ratted us out.
Nope.
Well, did we? I
We
think
had-
she knew.
We came up with so many excuses though.
She knew.
Like, yeah,
But we'd never straight up cut school. We'd leave class, or like we'd leave after second and third period.
yeah.
It was so I don't think she really believed all our bullshit, do you?
She might have. But
No, she let us.
we had
believe
some
it.
good excuses though.
I don't remember them.
Yeah, neither do I, but they all worked apparently.
Yeah. So, and it helped too that your mom worked for the school.
Oh yeah.
She worked for the school district, right? So
Yep. She was a
by the time
secretary.
she was home, we were okay to be home.
Yeah. Right.
But I always went back to school for football
Well,
practice.
high school started at like some ridiculous hour of the morning,
Yeah,
six,
it was,
7, 6.
It was like 7:05.
Yeah, like, and then we'd get out at 1:30.
So I like your drinking method. I have to, right from the bottle, right?
Yes. Not that we're looking for sponsors. but
Diabetes much? I mean,
Yeah.
you're just chugging Mountain Dew.
I love Mountain Dew. Yeah. Doesn't affect me at all.
Yeah, I can tell. So, all right, Scrunchy,
Yeah.
Sasquatch. Let's get squanchy. Did I say that right?
Let's get
Yeah,
squanchy.
there I go. I nailed it. I've never watched Rick and Morty, so I really don't know.
Oh, dude, it's hilarious. It's like Family Guy only in outer space. It's hilarious.
Cartoons are different now than
Actually, it's
growing
not even in outer space. He jumps from world. It's this mad scientist grandfather who can jump dimensions, and he'll jump to a dimension where everybody's whatever, a chicken, or it's hilarious.
So, is a dimension where everybody's chickens?
They're well. Are you asking me in reality? Is it possible?
Well, who knows, right? No, in the show.
He's been to so many different dimensions. I don't
Nori's
know.
shaking his head. Are you having a seizure, or are you saying yes? All right, he's saying yes.
Yeah.
Does anyone question the fact that the dog on Family Guy talks?
No, it's a cartoon. It's like the bear on the Cleveland show.
Or the fact that, yeah, so the baby, too? I mean, how old is Stewie?
Oh, I don't know.
He hasn't aged at all.
No, he never will.
Like Bart and Lisa, right? And the little baby. I don't know the baby's name. What's the baby's name?
Maggie.
Lori? Maggie.
Little Maggie, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Stewie's age. He's 1 year.
We're just
1 year
looking.
old.
We're just looking it up.
Yeah. And where does he get his accent from? I don't know. There's mysteries of life.
He's a
right?
great character, though.
He is. That's a great show.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It seems like we've run out of topics.
No,
here.
we can pick another topic. What do you think of Kavanaugh? Really?
I really haven't followed it. Besides it, the left is all up in arms about it.
It's not that we
He's
didn't
being held
expect it.
accountable for some stupid stuff he did back in high school.
Well, it's more. I think it's more than that. He, from my perspective, like beyond, he's made some controversial rulings that pretty much demonstrate that he's not really biased. I mean, he's not really non-biased. So,
I don't think anybody is, anyways.
yeah, but he'll rule for big corporations over people, and he'll.
Well, they have more money.
Well, yes, but we're talking about the Supreme Court. Even if you don't believe the accuser, his behavior during the Senate hearings, it was like childish behavior, like tantrum. I can't believe this is happening to me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're supposed to be on the Supreme Court, neutral, unbiased, and I
didn't follow any of it.
I hope what happens.
He got in though, right?
Yeah, he got in. There was no way he couldn't get in. There was no way he couldn't with the Republican majority.
I really don't watch news. Do you know why?
Why?
It's fake news.
Oh, please.
No, seriously. News is so biased.
Well, in some cases it can be biased, but
Most of it is.
on some level, but like it's not like CNN is not nearly as biased as like Fox News.
Says the Democrat.
But seriously,
Why
fact
should
check.
a news station be okay? So who runs fact check?
Fact check. Everybody go to politifact.com.
And who's it run by? Some people with no political agenda?
No, but what I'm saying is they fact check statements. They reference everything, right? So, and I've watched PolitiFact crucify Hillary Clinton for what she said, or even Bernie Sanders. That's a half true, and then they'll say why. PolitiFact is great for understanding.
Do you think it's okay with what Hillary did with the election with Bernie?
Well,
Or what the party did?
let me
right?
point out the thing about that people don't understand about political parties is when it comes to who they put up as their nominee, they don't have to listen.
So the people have no say.
The people really don't have a say. The primary elections are just a popularity contest.
The whole thing is a popularity contest.
Right, but
I'm
saying, like, even if Bernie Sanders, like, let's say, I'm going to take Trump for an example. Trump, a blowhard. Everybody knows he's a blowhard. He won over Ted Cruz and all these other people. But in the end, if the Republican Party said, or if the committee said, you know what, this guy really doesn't represent what we really, believe our core,
our
core values.
So overwhelmingly ahead.
Even though he could, but they could have picked somebody else, and it would have been okay to do that,
right?
Under the
would
rules,
would it have been okay though?
Yes, under the rule. Political parties don't like. It's like,
that's
for example,
why I think the political parties are bullshit.
Now imagine you are the CEO. You're running for office, and you're running for the CEO of a big company. You have a board of directors, right? And every one of them has an idea of who they want. You got 2 or 3 guys running for the same position.
Yeah.
So they go and they ask all their employees, "Hey, who do you think should lead this company?" So they ask the employees, right?
So isn't that the problem?
It's a popularity
We're trying
contest.
to run the country like a company.
Well, they ask all their employees who they think should run the company, and their employees think they pick somebody, and this guy's got the most votes. But the board of directors gets the ultimate decision on who runs the company. That's how a political party works.
So who would be our board of directors
in
the country? Who's our board of directors?
The board of directors.
Senate, Congress?
Oh, well, Congress is king.
Right.
Congress is king.
It's funny you say that because they also have no term limits.
Right. Congress is king. They they write the laws.
How do you feel about term limits for Senate, Congress type people?
I'm for it. I'm for term limits, but getting them to ever implement it is never going to happen. That's like voting themselves out of a job.
Yeah, exactly right. So why don't more people wake up and vote these people out of office?
Because the next people coming in are in the same boat. You got to take the money out of politics before you can solve anything.
That's not going to happen.
No, it might not happen in our lifetime, but hopefully it happens because
I think it'll happen if we hit the reset button.
Yeah, but the reset button, that's like that's crazy. The reset button.
Yeah, but how else? There's no other way to fix it.
The people can change it. The people have to get pissed off enough.
People don't care enough.
That's right, because only 10% of people vote. You got to vote.
You voted.
I voted, yeah.
Yeah. Who'd you vote for?
I voted for Hillary.
Would you have voted for Bernie?
Oh, absolutely.
I probably would have too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Bernie was more pure in his in his whole position.
His late gun stance steered me away from it a little bit.
Well,
he didn't come into the race really stating that kind of, the gun stuff, but then
common sense, like, really, most liberals don't want to take away your guns. We don't want to restrict anybody. Like, we just want to make sure that they don't get in the hands of crazy people, criminals.
There's already laws in place for that.
Yeah, but
how do we get back on the guns?
More. It's like closing the gun show loophole and closing, like, little things, like making it a little bit more difficult. Just, safety.
It's pretty difficult in Massachusetts
safety
already.
Training. Right, safety training and things like that. Little thing, and we don't have mass shootings.
That is correct.
A little bit more difficult is all, And yeah, okay. So the guy that wants the gun's got to jump through a couple more loopholes. Christ, to update my driver's license, I have to go downtown to Boston to get my birth certificate because I don't just happen to keep a copy on hand. I've got to do running around to get a driver's license because I can't use my expired driver's license as proof that I ever had a license. I mean, there's some
that doesn't make sense.
No, there's some common.
So you have to show all of the documents all over again. Yeah,
that's
you get it once. Come on.
Yeah.
It expires and suddenly your documentation's not valid anymore.
Trump's gonna grab me and deport me.
Well.
Yeah, I'm a liberal.
I don't know about that. I think you'd be in the gray area at that point.
I'd be in the
They'd let you stay. See, you are able to prove that you were actually born here, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. So was Obama.
right. So you say that, right?
Yeah.
So was Obama.
The birther movement.
You brought this up.
Yeah.
So the internet is a great place. There's a picture of his student ID, I think was at Columbia, where he was a foreign student or something like that, right? Have you seen that?
No.
Or you see, if you can you try to find that Obama foreign student ID or something, see if they'll pull it up. Now go to images. There it is. Foreign student. So how do you get Columbia University in the city of New York, Barry?
What you do is you continue with the fact check and read it.
No, that doesn't suit my argument.
That doesn't suit your argument. Continue with the fact check and figure it
No,
out.
fact check. I already told you. I don't believe in fact check. We should fact check.
Fuck
See?
fact check.
So okay, yeah, hoax, right? So Photoshop, whatever. But there's my
There it
point:
is.
is how do you get a foreign student ID if you were born in America?
Well, again,
Didn't he have dual citizenship or something like that? Am I just making stuff up right now?
I don't think so. His dad was from Kenya, but I think him and his mom were estranged. So she raised him, and I don't know much more. I can't go. I don't know much more about that to speak of it. But he does have a birth certificate that says he was born in the United States.
Yes. See, Squanchy's talking some truth right there.
What's that?
Something about some court ruling that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, is the right of the people to alter. Yeah, good luck with that.
That's
so basically,
that's the reset button.
That's the reset
Right,
button.
but there are laws that prevent us from inciting insurrection.
Of course. Who makes those laws? The people. They're
Right.
protecting them. They're isolating themselves, insulating themselves.
No, the only way to really.
And you would argue, well, we can't fight the military anyways because
No, the military should be on our side. That's just it. But that's a tough one, because everyone in the military, let's say they decided that Congress was bad. Now you've got generals that, that they're in.
Oh,
charge
you'd
of.
need rogue for sure, generals
yeah.
and yeah. So I'm not saying it would be pretty,
No, it wouldn't be pretty at all.
but maybe more along the lines of where the government's trying to restrict what type of weaponry you own as a citizen.
Well, I don't think you should be owning an F-18 Hornet as a citizen.
Well, if you're licensed and you can fly and you can afford it, why not?
Well, not with all the military stuff on it. The radar, the radio, the any kind of intelligence gathering, the missiles, the
Listen,
explosives.
you never know. That commute sometime is a bitch. I'd love to get to work in like 2 minutes.
yeah, I bet you would.
No, and I'm not saying, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, maybe.
Yeah, right.
I mean, F-18 Hornet, really?
Well, it is, but where do you draw the line?
Who decides where the line is? That's kind of my point. So the government's drawing the line where it's in their best interest instead of where it's in the people's best interest.
Well, I don't know, because they're trying to draw the line where not just anybody can have access to this military.
When's the last time someone kicked into a mall and started shooting an RPG down the hallway?
Well,
people own them.
Yeah, or it's much harder to come by.
We can go take a 10-minute ride, and I could go buy a bazooka in New Hampshire if I had New Hampshire ID. Literally, there's one for sale at the gun shop I go to.
Okay. What about the ammunition?
Well, I'm sure if you can buy the bazooka, you can probably find some ammunition.
Not necessarily true.
If you have the means. I mean, even legal, illegal, whatever.
Yeah.
If you have the means, you can
Sure.
you can get whatever you want.
Sure, but we're not advocating.
I'm sure people in Texas probably have them.
What, bazooka?
Whatever they want. Come on. I think I heard somewhere or read somewhere there, as far as we're talking about Texas and people having whatever they want, there are more tigers in captivity in Texas than wild throughout the world.
I bet. I don't doubt that at all. Texas is crazy. Yeah.
They probably say the same thing about people in Mass, though. I don't know how those people live over there.
I don't know, but in Massachusetts we have health care.
We do.
We do have health care.
Oh, they don't have health care in Texas?
Well, like Obamacare. You'd be surprised at how many of the Republican states didn't just...
How did that mic get so far away from you?
I don't know. It just happens.
You had to lean way out for that.
I did.
Like, you got, like, creepily close to me. I wasn't sure what was going on there.
No, I mean, I'm for health care, obviously, as a liberal. And you know, a lot of the states, like Obamacare, there were literally people who would go to the hospital, and this is from, like, nursing papers.
Did you see this or hear this? Read it. Did you see, hear, or read this?
Read. In research studies, Times Nursing Research
I don't have
studies.
time to read research studies, but your wife is like a...
Psych nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah, practitioner.
So she's telling you this stuff is what it is.
No, I read it.
No, you don't.
I do.
Where do you have time?
I have time.
You just come home from work and you're like, I want to read a research study on Obamacare.
No, you'd be surprised. Yeah,
I would be surprised. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah. No,
I come home from work and I just want to just relax. I don't want to listen to any news bullshit. I just usually I have a couple hours to watch maybe a show. And
in the winter, I have a lot of free time. My work's kind of seasonal, so. But yeah, I love to read.
You work on the farms in New Mexico?
Yeah,
right.
So I read a lot of stuff, and the Republicans, as far as Obamacare went, did everything from the moment that it started to try to sabotage it. And I mean, literally, not just at the federal level, but at the state level as well.
Right.
So there were literally people going into the hospital, and they would be like, well, you know, you can sign up for Obamacare, and these people would say, I don't want none of that Obamacare, you know, and then they would say, well, you know, there's also...
Was that a Southern accent?
Yeah.
Was that Texas? We're picking
no,
on?
That was just a Southern accent. But then the nurses would say, well, you know, you can also, like, you can apply for the Affordable Care Act. Oh, really? Okay, let me sign up for that.
Same thing.
Same thing. These people that, like...
I noticed you worked a double negative in there, too. Don't want no.
Yeah, right. Right? But seriously, like, who wouldn't want health care? Who wouldn't want, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? You know, I argued with somebody on Facebook the other day. They said, guns are a right.
That's pretty much the only reason you go on Facebook is to argue with people.
They were saying that I wish liberals would just understand that, you know, health care is not a right. Guns are a right. And then I said, yeah, dude, you need to look at the 9th Amendment because, you know, it's a right if we say it's a right, you know. And you know what the 9th Amendment is?
I don't. No.
That's the one that just because we enumerate these rights doesn't mean we're excluding other rights that are not in the Bill of Rights, basically. So
it's pretty much saying that whatever the hell we decide is a right is a right.
As a people, together, unified.
Well, let's see.
Yeah. Are we looking for the wording?
No, it's right there. The 9th Amendment was James Madison's attempt to ensure that the Bill of Rights was not seen as granting to the people of the United States only the specific rights addressed. Interesting. So that's a gray area. So there's an amendment saying that...
There's an amendment saying that if we're not letting the government off the hook for anything that we decide should be a right. So we decide healthcare is a right, it's a right. That's it. It's that simple.
So the government has to supply us with healthcare.
Yeah.
So, but hang on a minute. So that doesn't necessarily mean just because it's your right doesn't mean the government has to give it to you.
No, if it's a right, the government's there to ensure our rights, to protect.
Right. So you have the right to obtain healthcare.
No, so you're getting technical. If we
but
decide,
then the government mandated that you had to have health care, and they'd fine your ass on your taxes if you didn't have it.
Right, but do you know why? The thing is, if someone gets sick without health care, what happens is, who pays the bill anyway? Who pays the bill?
The taxpayers.
The taxpayers pay the bill anyway. So if you decide you don't want to get health care and we have to pay for it anyway, why shouldn't you pay? Why shouldn't you contribute in the form of a fine? A little bit, because believe me, we're going to pay a hell of a lot more.
Well, you're still liable for that on your credit report anyways, because it gets reported.
But,
so then
like if you can't afford health care, it doesn't matter. Oh, you're liable on your credit report. Big deal. Who pays it for it in the end? Who writes it off? The hospitals write it off as a loss, and we pay for it anyway.
Right.
Because it's lost tax revenue. So no matter how you slice it, a healthy population costs less money.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
So it's better for you to have...
Yeah, as you drink 2 liters of Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Yes. I may very well be on my way to diabetes, but I'm looking for sponsors.
Yeah. So I don't think Mountain Dew's stepping up to the plate there.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think so.
Look at our viewership.
We've got 3.
We've got 3.
And I'm sure they've shared it. And when we post on Facebook later,
maybe we'll
link that they're going to share that link and Twitter.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
Because we'll get that stuff up there. Nor you can be able to get this on iTunes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So is it iTunes, Google Play? What are the other platforms?
Yeah, see, I'm not good with arguments on the spur of the moment.
This has to go that
Okay,
way.
let's go that way.
It's not an argument. I don't think we're arguing.
No,
at all.
like I usually come prepared. Like when I discuss things, I usually come prepared. Like, you know why I like arguing on Facebook? Because I fact check before I open my mouth. I make sure that the other person is wrong somehow before I open my mouth. You know, here I'm just talking speculation. You know,
yeah,
like
just bullshitting.
Just bullshitting. You know, and you know, I identify as liberal, but I like gun rights. I think people should have them.
But yet you don't own a gun.
I don't own a gun, but I don't have to. It's a choice, you know. Liberal, conservative, you know, we've got to find common ground.
I'm not big into labels myself.
Yeah, but eventually we have to find common ground. But look at how divided Congress is right now. Like, it is unbelievable. But this happened.
I mean, right now it's been like that.
Yeah, but it's been that way since Obama. Like, as soon as Obama's first midterm election came around, Republicans blocked everything. For the next 6 years, they blocked everything, even some of their own legislation.
How about Trump's State of the Union, where the Democrats were going out of their way to look as miserable as possible?
They can look as miserable as possible. Like, he is doing everything that the Democrats or liberals stand for, and undoing it. He's literally undoing it, or trying to undo it. And his supporters, who quite frankly I don't think are educated or literate enough to comprehend some of the things that he's doing.
I don't think he understands some of the things.
I don't think he understands. His hand is being held along this road because he has no clue.
Yeah,
and there are special interests that are guiding him down his decision-making paths. Very little of what. In fact, who was the guy that came out? He was in the Trump administration. Came out and said, "Yeah, there are people actively working to make sure that the president
opinion.
Doesn't screw up things."
Well, I think that's like that with every president, though.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the magnitude of that job.
Yeah, how the hell did we give it to him?
Advisors have advisors.
Yeah, right. Advisors have, but you want to surround yourself with the best people for the job.
So you say, how did we give it to him? So the system's broken. Again, I've asked, how do we fix it?
Well, I would like to think that an open dialogue would fix a lot of things.
No,
People don't understand.
Everybody's too left or right.
Well, we're definitely polarized, but we've got to be able to find a middle ground where we can bridge the gap. Like you and I discussed immigration, right? You and I discussed immigration. I said, you know what? There are a couple other ways to fix the problem. It doesn't have to be black and white. It doesn't have to be, an all or nothing kind of thing. It doesn't have to be ICE kicking down doors, ripping people's families apart, and shipping.
That's fun to watch, though. Wait, what was it? Remember, was it back in the 80s? Clinton sent that goon squad in to rip that little kid out.
Yeah, that
What
was
was his name? You remember?
Something. I can't think of his name, but I remember that, and we were outraged over that.
Mm-hmm. But everybody forgets that happened with a Democrat in office.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. And I can't remember what it was. It was like his mother had passed away, and his father was still in Cuba and wanted him.
I don't remember. Something like that.
There was something like that, and
but they busted in guns drawn.
Yeah, that's because the family wouldn't give him up, and the decision was made. I think that he.
How'd you like to be the first guy through that door?
Like, I don't know why, but honestly, why did they need guns? They could have knocked on the door and said, "Listen, he's got to go back."
I don't think they're just opening up. Say, "Oh, can I help you?" It wasn't dominoes knocking on the door.
Well, they can kick down the door, but they literally there was the guy there with the gun. I remember the photo.
Yeah,
there was a guy there with the gun, and the kid in the closet looking terrified in somebody's arms. I remember that.
You want a cup? I have glasses.
No. This is I'm saving on energy.
This guy.
I'm saving water by not washing any glasses.
You say so.
I recycle.
So you're like half of that bottle's gone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How big is your bladder?
It's pretty big.
Yeah, that's what you okay.
The peanut gallery.
Yeah. Those off camera, just slightly out of the fray.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, no, I don't think we argued at all. I think it was discussion, and you conceded on a lot more than I thought you were going to concede on.
No, but like I said, it's not all black and white. There are solutions that can be found in the middle that can be agreeable to both sides.
Yeah, not enough people are willing to go to the middle, though.
No, definitely not this Congress. But honestly, in some instances, I don't blame the Democrats in Congress for being like. The Republicans are now accusing them of trying to stall Kavanaugh or obstruction. It's like, dude, that's the pot calling the kettle black. You have been obstructing. You obstructed Obama for his last 6 years, in office. And
but then you just get in the finger pointing, and that's
but
that's
still,
not productive.
But still, you have the minority at one point telling the majority how it was going to be, I don't know. I could go on and on about it, and
you could.
I could.
So, what are we? How far are we into this? Before we broke, are we about 2 hours? Yeah. So I know we have some walls to paint.
Yeah. Okay.
And I say we, I mean mostly you.
Mostly. Okay.
So because I mean,
I see.
Yeah, your hands are dirty, man.
Do you ever think a chair rail maybe would do you some good?
No. Again, you're being too practical.
I'm being too practical. Okay.
Maybe. I'm not even sure what that is.
A chair. It's just a piece. It's a board just high enough so that the chairs don't.
No, actually, that wasn't a chair. That was before we got the poker table in, which is we're talking on right now. I was moving something, and I hit the wall.
Okay.
And then
what's your excuse over there?
Well, the excuse over there is the paint wasn't set, and I put some painter's tape up.
Okay.
Because I was putting the clear coat on top of the bar, and when I pulled the painter's tape up, the paint came with it.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
It did do it.
Yeah, it did.
So everything's all cured and set now. So I was gonna do it yesterday, or I was asked to do it yesterday, and I said, no, Chris is coming over tomorrow.
Do you have any joint compound?
For that?
Yeah.
What do you need? That's not a hole.
Look at that dent. That ding. I can see a ding.
We just use a little extra paint.
Extra paint.
You'll go on extra little thick. But yes, I do. I have that too.
Or spackle or something.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, this is
the
first time you've been in, right?
No, I've been in here once before, but it wasn't set up nearly like.
I don't think it was. Great. It wasn't set up at all. It was just a storage shed.
Yeah, it was just storage.
There was a workbench over there. There was like one neon light.
Right.
Half of it would flicker.
Right. No, this looks great. Who did your lighting?
My builder, my builder buddy Julio.
Yeah.
He did the whole room actually.
Yeah, it looks good.
We got to take the AC out today too. I think we're in the clear on that.
Yeah, I think so too.
You didn't have to take off immediately after, right?
No.
Good.
This is nothing. I mean, the problem with touch-ups though, sometimes you got to do the whole wall.
No, I don't think we do. I hope we don't. I don't have time for that shit. There's other stuff
I
to
can't
do.
eat popcorn. It's just going everywhere.
There's other stuff to do. No,
Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay. No, I enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah. it's
This
always
was a
good.
lot more fun than I thought
And
it was going
the
to be.
40 minutes we spent talking on the phone the other day, you wasted good content.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, half hour into it, I'm like, damn it, you stop it.
Mhm.
So,
So we're new. Share us all over.
yeah, absolutely.
We're brand new. We'll try to follow comments. Let's read some of the comments before.
It's all Sasquatch. I don't think we have anyone up there but him.
Sasquatch.
But no, I'm pretty sure that goes up with a delay. You're listening right now. Type something in there saying that you can listen. I want to see what the delay is. That you can hear. Excuse me. 6 seconds.
The engineer says 6. Let's see how fast you can type.
15 seconds. Yeah. See, at that point, the conversation's probably moved on. That it's no longer relevant. But the comment section should probably be where. All right, there it is. Yeah, about 10 to 15 seconds. Sure. Is that adjustable?
Yeah.
Yeah. What it said 10 seconds, didn't it? Scroll down a little bit.
That was snap sensitivity.
Oh, okay. So I think maybe a content or a question or something like that.
Yeah.
We got to figure something out. Maybe put something on the table here.
Well, with the engineer watching.
I think if you change it now, you're probably going to screw something up. No? It's not going to skip, you don't think?
I did it already. Nothing happened. Change it from 20 to 15.
Well,
So we, for those who do end up listening to this, if you know anybody who would be interested in sponsoring the podcast, obviously subscribing, that goes without saying. But I do have, obviously, as much time as I choose to take for sponsors before the podcast, after the podcast. The really only one I have now is just to plug my own deal here. Is, tune in, all the Scuttlebutt podcast. We're going to be on iTunes. We're going to be on Google Play, all the platforms. Obviously, YouTube live stream. Maybe we'll try to do Facebook Live next time too. I'm not sure how that, if we can do multiple live feeds at once or not, but we'll figure it out. Definitely a work in progress. If you are in Lynn, I know you don't go back that way, but if you're in Lynn, stop by the Commons, Lynn House of Roast Beef. Family owns it. My wife and her siblings do a great job. It's been a staple in the Lynn for decades, but they're really ramping it up. They offer delivery now. Maybe pizza in the future. I know it's been discussed, but they're on Grubhub, all that good stuff. So
okay.
they do a really good job over there. So stop by. They're open till 1 a.m. Yeah, 1 a.m. 2 a.m. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's why I don't know, because I am sound asleep at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But they do a good job. So it's right on the end of the Commons in Lynn. Stop by and tell them that the Scuttlebutt podcast sent you. And I don't know, maybe they'll hook you up with a free bag of chips or something.
And vote blue in November.
Yeah, enough of that. Will you vote your mind, but definitely vote. Even if it doesn't matter, at least then you can complain about something. So October 15th, Fred Hogan is going to be my guest. He's running for City Council Ward 6 in Lynn. Just announced it, so I think that's pretty cool. I had him scheduled before he even said anything about it. And, so I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool too. He's a really interesting guy. I've posted the link on Facebook too. You can look into it. That's just a little snippet. I know he coaches football, basketball, girls basketball. He's very active in the community. Stop the violence movement. He's very, he's been at like 25 plus years, sponsored the Hogan Classic, which is a big basketball tournament, all kinds of age groups and stuff in Lynn. But always active in the forefront of the community. So it's really good to see him running for somewhere where he can actually have more of a positive effect. And we're gonna have him on. Are you gonna be here for that?
October 15th.
It's oh really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So Chris won't be here. And if he is, it won't be another anniversary. So, anyways, share the links. I'll be posting them up on Twitter, Facebook. I'll put the iTunes link in. We'll get that all up, hopefully by the end of the day. But let everyone know. Until next time.
All right.
Thanks.